ever talked about that play.
You ready?
I'm ready.
It's the fumble.
Incomplete. Fumble. No.
This game is over, and you know it's over.
The Super Bowls all happened because it wasn't a fumble.
Had a tuck rule. Never happened. A lot of people would look back and think, well, what if?
The Tuck Rule, Sunday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Available next day on ESPN+.
We welcome you to Oxford, Mississippi, where we've got a top 25 showdown on our hands here at the SJB Pavilion. It's number 15, Georgia, on the road taking on number 24, Ole Miss. Seth Austin, Lindsey King with you here on the SEC Network. Hope you're enjoying your Sunday. Lindsey, it's been a long time since we've been able to claim a top 25 showdown here in Oxford, but that's what we've got here today. Ole Miss, third in the SEC, 5-2 on the year. Georgia, 4-3. They are also in the top 6 of the SEC standings. It's not just a top 25 battle. We've also got a battle between two of the best bigs in the country. For Ole Miss, it is Shakira Austin coming off a 15.7 rebound outing on Thursday.
That's right, Seth. Shakira Austin, she is playing at the top of her game right now, and I have a feeling she's going to come out hungry for this one. Her teammates, they want her to get a lot of touches. They want her from the tip to be active and play an inside-out game with Shakira Austin. I'm excited to see what she does.
From one Maryland transfer to another on the other side of things, it's Jenna Stady, 15 points and nearly 8 rebounds per game. That's the showdown. We can circle those two right away. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, Stady, just like Shakira Austin, can bring it all over the floor. You're going to want to watch these two. It is going to be a battle. Both of these teams, especially the post players on paper, they match up so well together. This one's going to be a great game.
It'll also be a battle between two of the more respected coaches here in the SEC. On the Ole Miss sideline, it's Coach Yo in her 4th season, a recruiter and a defensive-minded coach. And her counterpart today, you can almost copy and paste the same descriptions for Joni Taylor, the reigning SEC Coach of the Year. It's going to be a fun one. We're going to see a lot of defense. We're going to see some in-and-out play, as you mentioned. And we're going to see two teams coming off of a loss against ranked opponents that want to get back in the win column here today.
Absolutely. Both of these coaches, they want to see a fight from the beginning. And exactly like you said, a lot of energy on the defensive end. A lot of these players, they turn their defense into offense, and we're going to see a battle.
Ole Miss 17-3, and as I mentioned, 5-2 in conference play. Their second loss came at the hands of number 1 South Carolina, 69-40 on Thursday night. We'll get more into that game as we go here today. For Georgia, they are 15-4, 4-3 in the SEC. Their last outing was a loss to Tennessee in Athens. Georgia in the reds, Ole Miss in their whites here today. And we'll see the battle right away here at the opening tip between Austin and Stady. Ole Miss and Georgia here on the SEC Network. Scott comes away with the first possession for Ole Miss. Mimi Reed sets up the offense, the veteran point guard from New York. Over to the reigning SEC Freshman of the Year, Madison Scott. Reed gets it right back. Set shot rattles home. Ole Miss is on the board first. Ole Miss in the press, trying to stifle this lineup sent out there by Coach Taylor. It's Sarah Ashley Barker, Coombs, Stady, Isaacs, and Q Morrison, who is developing into one of the best players nationally on both ends of the floor. She'll don number 25 in the red uniform. You see her on the near side corner as we speak. This is Barker. Back out for Coombs. She'll let a shot go. It's short. Batted around, rebounded by the former Georgia Bulldog, Danetta Johnson. She played in 27 games at Georgia during her freshman season in 2018 and 19. She'll drive right side, flip up a shot, no good. She's joined out there by LaShonda Monk, Shakira Austin, Mimi Reed, and Madison Scott. Morrison off the mark on her first shot, and that'll be a turnover. Going to be a fun matchup to watch. Q Morrison and LaShonda Monk go back and forth. Two players who are more known for their defense but can also fill up the score sheet on the offensive end. That'll be one to watch. LaShonda Monk and one on the near side of your screen there. She'll be matched up with Morrison, the senior guard from Riverdale, Georgia. First touch offensively for Shakira Austin. Just inside the three-point line over to Johnson, guarded by Georgia's number 3, Sarah Ashley Barker. Approaching 10 to shoot, pull-up Jay from Johnson, no good. Offensive board, Madison Scott, and the putback up and 4-0 Ole Miss.
Great cleanup by Madison Scott. In 2 possessions in a row, she's been in the right place at the right time. They're going to need a lot of that from her today.
Georgia looking for their first bucket. Here's Michaela Coombs, the UConn transfer. She'll work with that left hand around Johnson, back outside the arc, 8:15 to play in quarter number 1. Sarah Ashley Barker on the curl, no good. LaShonda Monk up amongst the trees down low, comes away with the rebound. She'll start the offense for the Rebels, driving right side on Morrison. Pulls it out, gets it back to Shakira Austin. This time she will let a shot go from deep, no good. Barker on the rebound. Ole Miss holding opponents to just 54 points per game on the season. That's second best in the SEC and 15th nationally on the year. Runner from Morrison won't go back end iron. Pulled in by Madison Scott, averaging 6 boards per game here this season. 4-0 Rebels, LaShonda Monk. Couple dribbles, she'll let a shot go. Stady coming away with the rebound. Here's Morrison, full head of steam, lets a shot go. Impacted by Shakira Austin. The putback also redirected, altered, if you will, by Austin. 42 blocks this year from Shakira Austin. That will not go down as one, but it'll work the same. Helter-skelter offensively here, and there's a near steal from Michaela Coombs.
So far we're seeing a very high energy, a lot of transitions, a lot of quick shots. Both of these teams are very deep with their bench, and I have a feeling we're going to see this pace a lot today.
Told you Ole Miss holds opponents to just 54 points per game. Georgia not far off at 57.7 points allowed per contest to their opponents. They're also scoring it at a 72-point per night clip. Ole Miss averaging just under 70 points per game. As we approach the 3-minute mark here in this game. 7 minutes to play in quarter number 1. Mimi Reed over to Donetta Johnson outside the arc. She's got 5 to shoot, swings it for Madison Scott. Hesitation. Rebound on the miss there. Once again, Sarah Ashley Barker, the Birmingham, Alabama native out of Spain Park High. Stady's going to let a 3 go early on just to let Ole Miss know what her range looks like. It's a big one to get the Dogs on the board.
You talk about stretching out the defense. She doesn't take a lot of threes, but she can hit that.
Stady on the season now, 7 for 24 from behind the arc. Austin looking to answer inside. Short on the flip there, and again, it's Barker, a handful of rebounds early on for the former Spain Park Jag. Stady again left open in transition from 3, back-to-back for Stady.
Goodness gracious, you talk about a good post player. When you can pull that out and your coach has confidence in you to knock it down, that's incredible.
26% from downtown on the season is Stady. She's 2 for 2 to begin the game from downtown here. Turnover forced by Georgia. Jenna Stady again. Can do it, doesn't do it often, Lindsay. Looks like that when she's in a rhythm.
You even see, Shakira Alston giving her a little more room on the second one, but on the first one, Shakira Alston was in the stand. She was guarding her. You just can't give her anything.
15 points, 8 rebounds per game, also 2.5 blocks per contest for Jenna Stady. Knocking down shots at a 51% clip here this season. 6 already here in the game with 1 rebound. Jordan Isaacs gets it over to Coombs, then Isaacs gets it right back. Junior from Alpharetta. Setting things up for the Buford, Georgia native Michaela Coombs. 7.6 points, 3 rebounds per game. Stady again. No good, rebounded by LaShonda Monk. 2 rebounds per game for LaShonda Monk. She's already got 2 here in this one. To the elbow goes Shakira Austin. It's smooth to tie things up at 6. Leading scorer at 15 points a night. Shakira Austin, the Fredericksburg, Virginia native. Honorable mention, All-American last season. Battling in the blocks here with Stady. She'll step over with the health defense. The floater up and in. Five minutes in, 8-6 Georgia. Snutta Collins had checked in on the drive off the mark. Nearly the offensive board by Angel Baker. Last touched by the Wright State transfer. We're at our first media timeout here this afternoon. Georgia on top, 8-6. Rebels are going to need Shakira Austin to be good. The elbow jumper goes for her first basket of the day.
You can feel the energy. There's a lot on the line.
These players better be ready for a fight.
The highest level of excellence between 2 programs. Oh, swing it in!
I just want to tell you, I've been a very lucky guy.
nothing better than Duke and Carolina.
There is just something magical about this rivalry.
There really is nobody like him. Oh my goodness! He's a beast!
We welcome you back to the SJB Pavilion in Oxford, Mississippi. It's 15 Georgia leading number 24 Ole Miss by the score of 8-6. We welcome you courtside. Seth Austin with Lindsey King. Lindsey, it's been a long time, as we said, since the Rebels have been ranked. They get thrown in the top 25 last weekend for the first time in 15 years. And what's their reward for that? A battle with number 1 South Carolina last Thursday. I mean, welcome to the top 25,
I know. It's like an immediate test. Are you up for the challenge? And they were.
15 years ago. A very different time, if you will, so different that Lindsey King has a black and white picture on our screen when she was a junior as a shooting guard here at Ole Miss. Arminty Harrington was a senior point guard with the Rebels, and the lone freshman on this Rebels team, Jaya Harris-Smith, was just 4 years old. What does that make you think when you see this?
I mean, it doesn't make me feel, when y'all told me that, I was like, it's not that long ago, right? But then you say 15 years, golly. I mean, Coach O's worked hard to build this program back up. I know Coach Ross came back to build the program back up when I was on the ranked team, and now Coach O's trying to do the same thing, so a lot of hard work paying off.
The Rebels are in the midst of 3 straight games against top 25 teams, and that really tells you what the SEC has become. There's really no slouches anymore, and Ole Miss, you know, to be frank with everybody watching, listening, they were one of those bottom dweller slouches in the last couple of years, and that's not the case anymore.
No, not anymore. It's just like what Johnny Taylor said, any given night in the SEC, it could be an upset.
Yeah, they played against number 1 South Carolina on Thursday, and it was originally scheduled to be played back at the start of the new year, but due to health and safety protocols, it was rescheduled during a week that Ole Miss was expecting to really have a bye, and South Carolina had almost had a bye coming into that game, and they showed you why they were number 1, and Ole Miss is balanced themselves out. They understand that loss doesn't define their season. They looked at the standings. We showed you them at the top of the broadcast. They said, we're 5-2 and top 3 in the SEC. Let's just rebound here against Georgia today.
That's right. That's the great thing about Coach O. She doesn't get hung up on one game. She always learns from it and moves forward, and here we are today.
Reach and foul there on the Rebels. Called on LaShonda Monk, her first. Coombs will inbound it here on the far side. Q Morrison working out as this team's point guard this season. Nearly 5 assists per game for Q Morrison, the Riverdale, Georgia native. Coming off a 14-point outing in the team's loss to the Lady Vols. 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and those are low in some of those categories when you talk about her being a stat sheet stuffer. 23 can do it all.
And what she does, not on the stat sheet, just a leader on this team. Plays like that when her team needs her to step up, she's always up for the challenge.
Austin steps on the baseline on the inbound pass. That is a unforced error. We'll see what Georgia can do with it, up by 4 here, 4:25 to play in the first. Morrison, the defensive player of the year, the co-defensive player of the year in the SEC, 2 times on the all-conference defensive team. Really stepping into new roles offensively as well. In transition, the pull-up from Angel Baker, no good. Stady cleans up the glass. Here come the Lady Bulldogs. Caitlin McGee checked in during that break, 32 in white. Nice backdoor feed from Morrison to Stady. How about the vision there, Lindsey?
Those two play so well together. I mean, what a perfect lob pass by Morrison. She knew where her teammate was going to be. That's an easy 2 points.
Austin driving right side, off a foot. It was Austin's foot. And that's another turnover for Ole Miss. Some of these teams across the country with the COVID extension of eligibility, they've become semi-professional rosters, if you will. There's a pair of 6-year seniors getting it done on the offensive side of things. Morrison and Stady, the vets for Georgia, doing it all on both ends of the floor. After the turnover, we'll see how Georgia prepares against this press from Ole Miss. Barker's going to catch and shoot the 3 in transition, and it's pure.
Seth, that shot is money. She is not one that you want to leave open from the 3-point line.
9-0 run for Georgia. Sarah Ashley Barker is shooting at 43% from behind the arc over the last 10 games for Georgia. McGee looking for a cutter instead. Off the mark to Monk, and right now Ole Miss is hurting themselves on the offensive end with turnovers.
Take another look here at Barker knocking it down wide open. Beautiful transition play. And that's Georgia. You got to make it harder on them. Their players are doing what they do best right now. You take a look at that. 16 of 37 in the last 10 games.
That was one of those straight up confidence shots. She just caught that, set her feet, turned to the basket and let it fly.
She knew.
If you were shooting over 40% from downtown, I would let that shot go too. Good defense from the Rebels on that possession. 3 minutes to play in the first quarter. They trailed by 9. One for their last 7 from the floor. LaShonda Monk looking for some help, and she fires it into the Georgia bench. It's actually off of the official there. It's another turnover, though, for Ole Miss. 5 turnovers in the last 6 minutes for Ole Miss. They pride themselves on taking care of the ball and turning other teams over. They average 14 turnovers themselves and force 20 a night. So far in this game, they have given up 5 turnovers to Georgia.
They're getting a little taste of that Georgia's stifling defense.
Here's Morrison. Top of the key, watched by Baker. She goes right on her. Stady, feed inside to Nicholson, who will be going to the line for 2 on the foul from Madison Scott. Javin Nicholson, 6'2" junior from Lawrenceville, Georgia, earning a trip to the line here. Nicholson has played in 18 games this season. 42% free throw shooter. Five points, 5 rebounds per game for Nicholson. Improvement from a season ago where she averaged 4 and 4. Knocks down both free throws there, and that'll lead to a Coach Yo timeout. 11-point lead for the Georgia Bulldogs, who have always trended on outperforming their preseason rankings. Coach Joni Taylor always says, it's not about where you start, it's about where you finish, right? And that's true for everybody, and they have been a team that has just outperformed what the media or coaches happen to think about them every single year.
Joni Taylor, she's definitely one of those actions speak kind of coaches, and she likes being the underdog, and this is just proof. Exactly like you said, always outperforming.
They're also a team that has no fear playing on the road this year. They are 7-1 in road games. So Ole Miss got the benefit of coming off of their road trip with the tough loss to South Carolina and playing in front of a good home crowd here today. It's not going to bother Georgia. They're used to going on the road and getting it done.
I know, Seth. That's almost a scary statistic because they're almost better on the road. They're always up for the challenge. That home court advantage doesn't mean much to them.
That record includes wins against Notre Dame and NC State, so it's not like they were on the road taking out a group of 5 schools all along the way. Mimi Reed into the corner for Donetta Johnson. They're 1 for their last 7 from the field. Foul called on the floor there on Barker. For the record, Georgia's lone loss on the season came at the hands of Kentucky, a team that Ole Miss did go into Lexington and take down. Johnson, baseline jump shot up, no good, too strong. Batted around, this is gonna be a race for the ball. Michaela Coombs is gonna scoop it up eventually. Morrison hesitates, lets the 3 go, no good. On the attempt from behind the arc for Hugh Morrison, Donetta Johnson on the rebound. Baker's a sharp shooter, she can't get it to go. Rebels down by 11, needing some help on the offensive end. Georgia trying to keep running it up. 1:40 to play here in the first quarter. Barker off the screen, curls at the free throw line, in and out. Rebels up in the pace, going the other way. Near side, Mimi Reed uses the screen. It was a pick and roll. The roll intercepted. Barker, 2-on-1. Austin not wanting to give up a cheap foul there, allows Barker to go all the way. 19-6 Georgia here in the first quarter. quite the start for the Bulldogs.
Absolutely, Seth. We mentioned Georgia, how they like to turn their defense into offense, and we've seen that a lot with the forced turnovers and turning those into points.
Inside of a minute coming up now for Ole Miss. A 13-0 run now for Georgia. Ended right there by Angel Baker. Drives, turns around in the lane, and gets it to go. Her first bucket of the afternoon. It's a player to keep an eye on the rest of the way here. She can score in droves when she gets hot. Stady, no good on the three-point attempt. No problem. Barker the putback.
Barker just had herself in position for that rebound.
Told you, Ole Miss only allows 54 points per game. 21 already allowed in the first quarter to these Bulldogs. About a second and a half difference in the shot and game clock. Mimi Reed looking to work it down here. This is Austin on the drive. She'll go around Stady. No good on the lay-in, but she will go to the line with the contact there, and a foul picked up by Jenna Stady.
Have to respect that aggressive job by Shakira Alston, almost like, whew, I got to take it into my own hands.
Shakira Austin, prepped at Riverdale Baptist. Started her collegiate career at Maryland. .69% at the line this season for the 6'5" senior. Oh for 2 with that trip for Shakira Austin. Here comes Georgia. Not going to get a final shot off before the buzzer, but quite the first quarter for the Lady Bulldogs, trying to come on the road and get back in the win column. Sarah Ashley Barker, the steal and the transition lay-in. It's the Dogs by 13 after 10.
Thursday, February 10th, the Stars are out in Los Angeles.
We got that magic!
To kick off Super Bowl 56 weekend.
Touchdown!
Celebrate the biggest season ever with host Keegan-Michael Key.
Let me hear you, come on!
Find out who will bring home the game's most prestigious awards.
Makes it look easy! The Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Keep rising. Keep changing the world.
NFL Honors, presented by Invisalign. Thursday, February 10th at 9/8 Central.
There really is nobody like him. Oh my goodness!
He's a beast!
After 10 minutes of action here at the SJB Pavilion, it's Georgia 21, Ole Miss 8. Great start for the Lady Bulldogs and a great start for their star center, Jenna Stady, who's not only quite the stud on the hardwood, can also get it done in the pole. A state champion for Jenna Stady back in high school. How about that for a two-sport athlete?
And you can tell she's got the body of a swimmer. She's got the length, and just an athlete being an athlete. It's not uncommon to see these Division I athletes that excel in 2 different sports. Very impressive.
Stady, 8 points already in the game, 3 of 5 from the field, including 2 3-pointers that came on back-to-back possessions for the Lady Bulldogs. She also gets it done defensively. I think that's what we talk about with the 2 stars from Georgia, is they do it on both ends. Stady and her teammates have protected the paint against Ole Miss. We highlighted Shakira Austin with Maddie Scott early on, who get their work done down low. Well, right now, Georgia is outscoring Ole Miss in the paint 10-0.
Yeah, and that's, I feel like of all the games we've seen Ole Miss play, now Georgia is taking the games that we're used to seeing Ole Miss play and feeding it right back to them.
Seth Austin, Lindsey King with you from Oxford, Mississippi. Happy Sunday. Morrison got early on the shot clock there. 2 Rebels collided for the rebound. It was Baker and Austin. Austin had it, gave it back to Baker, who starts up the offense. Looking for space to operate. She'll pull it out, get it to Shakira Austin, over to the point guard, Reed. I mean, Reed top 10 in the SEC in assists per game the last 3 seasons. Johnson steps. That's turnover number 7 for Ole Miss.
They have got to do a better job taking care of the basketball, and I'd like to see Shakira Alston sitting at 2 points right now. We talked about no points in the paint. Those points that she had came from her creating her own shot. They need to get those inside touches.
Chloe Chapman, the junior, had checked into the game. She'll get it back in her hands right now. A Mitchellville, Maryland native. She was a two-sport athlete at Ole Miss, gives it off. Excuse me, at Georgia, gives it up to Ole Miss. Angel Baker the steal. And the transition elbow jumper. We talked a lot about Angel Baker being a player who can score in droves. The senior out of Indianapolis was a two-time All-Horizon League player in 90 games of action at Wright State. Another turnover forced by the Rebels. Scott unable to make it a three-point play, but she will go to the line for two. How about the defense here early on in quarter number 2 for Ole Miss?
Yeah, you know, this is exactly what Coach O is wanting to see right now, that high-energy defense. You see Baker doing it there, and then immediately after, another steal by Mimi Reed, getting those easy transition points. Ole Miss playing Ole Miss basketball.
Baker entered today's game just 23 points short of 1,500 in her career. That'll give you an idea of what she can do in the scoring category. Scott's first free throw rattles in. It's an area where she has really improved her game in her second season because she does everything. It's defense, it's rebounding, it's scoring down low for the Rebels. The McDonald's All-American out of Bishop McNamara in the DMV area, shooting north of 70% from the free throw line here this season. 1 for 2 during that trip. Rebels down by 10. Georgia trying to figure out this defense here that has caused turnovers on back-to-back possessions. Good passing, though, from the Bulldogs after a near swipe from the Rebels. Georgia, a team that shares the ball so well, lead the SEC in 17 assists per game, and they're looking to get a turnover, and they do. Nicholson goes to the deck, scoops it, gets Chapman, 3-on-2. Morrison on the right side, up and in.
What a beautiful possession by Georgia.
Another turnover forced by the Lady Bulldogs. That's 8. It's led to 9 points for Georgia here in this one. Nicholson up ahead to Chapman. No weave-in, but a 3-man effort there from the Lady Bulldogs. Finds Q Morrison for the lay-in.
Spin this head and they rolled on its axis.
This crowd ready to celebrate.
There really is nobody like him. Oh my goodness! He's a beast!
8:15 to play in the first half. Georgia 25, Ole Miss 11. Ole Miss, a team that prides themselves on defense. They're going to need LaShonda Monk to continue to be what she has been as a factor on the defensive end of the floor. But before today's game, Monk was honored for her 400 career steals, one of 31 players in the history of the NCAA to have more than 400 steals. So not too shabby of a career for LaShonda, who was a 2-time Defensive Player of the Year in the AAC during her time at ECU. It's the only player in American history to win that award twice, so they're going to need her to keep stepping up. They forced a couple of turnovers here in quarter number 2, but right now Georgia has figured out this Ole Miss defense. Yeah, they have LaShonda Monk. I mean, that's an incredible statistic. 408 steals, and she doesn't just do it on the defensive end either. She is an impactful offensive player as well. Coach Yo, she got a stud when she got LaShonda Monk. Monk had played against Georgia a few seasons ago with ECU. It was a nail-biter of a game, and she played her tail off in that loss. Angel Baker heating up for the Rebels. Ole Miss now down by 12 inside of 8 minutes to play in the half. Chloe Chapman trying to give it off to Nicholson. No Stady in the game for Georgia, but Mallory Bates into the contest. Q Morrison still out on the floor, 10 to shoot for her and the Rebels. She'll go baseline, Shot way off the mark because the paint was patrolled there by Shakira Austin and Maddie Scott. That's not the two players you want to see coming at you when you're about to let go of a shot.
That's right, and it's not just a presence either. They actually go for the block, so you got to be careful with those two inside.
Angel Baker up to 6 points now for Ole Miss. She is leading them in scoring. We'll see what they might run to set up 15 on the near side of your screen. Entry pass for Scott. Turn around in the blocks, no good. Bates is the last one to touch that ball as she was pestered by Shakira Austin. Austin just 2 points here in the game. Came on an elbow jump shot early on in the first. Joni Taylor trying to get the attention of the refs as Stady will check back into the contest for Georgia. Mimi Reed left open on the wing. She's got Stady watching her. Screen frees up. LaShonda Monk on the near side lost the handle. This time on the left side wing, Reed fires a three, no good. Monk rips it away. We told you she's got the quick hands, almost able to get another possession for the Rebels. Instead, it's Chapman, the soccer player with Georgia, showing the full head of steam, getting up. She picked basketball. You see why. She's got the vision to run the point.
That, and how about Stady running the floor as well, all the way from the paint, beat everybody down there. You have to love that energy.
Austin flashes, one dribble to her right, high off the window, no good, rebounded by Chloe Chapman. Chapman 3 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists per game for Georgia. Swing pass all the way out there for Reagan Richardson, well off the mark from that three-pointer. Baker left open in transition. That'll be the easiest shot she gets all night.
You said it earlier, Seth, when we were off air. You said you're expecting a big one out of Angel Baker when they had that slow start, and now here she is, the past 6 points for Ole Miss.
She's watching Morrison here, so it'll be a tough task all day for 15 and White. Nice roll there from Bates. Baseline shot off the mark, rebounded by Shakira Austin. 5 rebounds already for Austin. This is Maddie Scott into contact, an offensive foul called. And who else? Q Morrison patrolling the paint.
That's just a great defensive read by Q Morrison. She knew Madison Scott was going to lower and go for that goal. Beautiful job drawing that foul.
Scott comes out. Georgia by 12 here. As McGee at the top of the press there, and right on cue, LaShonda Monk swipes it away from Georgia. 5.5 to play here in the first half. Monk works around the hedge from Stady. Collins inside to Austin, the step back in and out. Angel Baker rips it away from Isaacs. We'll talk a lot about her scoring prowess, but what have you thought about the intensity from Angel Baker today? There's a lot of desire in 15's face right now of wanting to take the shot, get the rebound, make the defensive stop.
I love it. I mean, that's the great thing about Ole Miss is they have so many players that can have that impact lead role, and right now we're seeing it from Angel Baker. Shakira Austin not getting her shots to fall, and they need a guard to step up, and she's taking that role.
A little sauce there from Baker as she created her own shot. In and out for the Indianapolis native. And Georgia Bulldog, no, believe it is a Georgia Bulldog playing without a shoe. She fires it into the stands. One shoe for Jordan Isaacs right now. Chapman pestered by Monk. This is Coombs, 10 to shoot. Collins defensively, a screen right from Stady. Isaacs lets the shot go with one shoe on, and she took steps.
We'll blame it on the one shoe. Yeah, slippery sock.
I did catch the look of the fans sitting courtside when that shoe went airborne.
That was crazy. I've never seen anybody throw their shoe. Usually they take a second to slip it back on.
Of course, I'm blanking now on the name of the guy who lost Florida a football game 2 seasons ago, taking the shoe and chucking it. And of course, there's random task in the Austin Powers series. Who throws a shoe, really? Chapman. She'll work on Monk. Can't create enough space. The feed inside to Stady, batted away by a combination of Austin and Baker. Crowd's starting to get into it here at the SJB Pavilion. Baker thought about a three with the hand in her face. Austin keeps the pivot foot down. Monk with the time winding down on the shot clock. Back end of the iron, no good. Here's Barker pushing it ahead. It's 2-on-2. It'll be one-on-one between her and Austin here from this point. Coombs, she'll drive on Austin. No good as Austin once again, without getting a block, changes the angle of that shot. Monk, three-pointer on the way. Airballed it. Barker now the other way again. Sarah Ashley Barker with 7 points. She's 3 of 5 from the field, 1 for 1 on her lone three-point attempt. Georgia hasn't scored in over 3.5 minutes. Chapman trying to change that, but Caitlin McGee sends her into the stands.
Caitlin McGee, one of the most aggressive defenders on this Ole Miss team. She is just a bulldog in the paint. I love the energy that she brings.
By the way, Lindsay, just to clear it up, Marco Wilson, former Florida Gator who threw the shoe, got the flag and lost Florida a football game. Gators fans do not want to hear anybody talking about that one.
That was going to drive you crazy if you didn't remember.
Well, we got it from inside the control room. Appreciate David Dillard and his crew coming through with the research. It's ESPN Stats and Info getting it done for us.
Those guys need a pay raise.
Foul on Ole Miss here. Looking at 3 minutes to play here in the first half. Nearly 4 minutes without any scoring from Georgia. Will not happen here. Last touched by the Lady Bulldogs. Ole Miss possession forthcoming. Rebels shooting 28% from the field, 7 of 25. They are 0 for 3 from behind the arc here in the game. Sletta Collins, one of their weapons from long range. They are not a team with a ton of weapons from behind the arc. Turnover there on the pass from Baker to Kitchens. Stady's turnaround won't go. Rebound Baker. 2 rebounds now for Angel Baker. Going the other way. The ball finds McGee, and she finds a way to put it in.
What a play. What a pass by Baker, and great job by Caitlin McGee. Running the court. Tough shot. Knocked it down.
Back to within 10 now for Ole Miss. Stady goes to work on Ianla Kitchens. Smooth footwork there from 14 in red.
Just makes it look so easy. She will knock that one down every time.
Reed hands it off to Angel Baker. She's hedged by Stady. Angel Baker resets the offense. 9 points per game for the Wright State transfer. 10 to shoot now for the Rebels. Make it 5 now. Kitchens with the ball in her hands still. Mimi Reed's gonna have to let a shot go from deep. Final 90 seconds of the half. This is Morrison. Screen put Baker on the floor, freed up Isaacs, and then the foul on Kitchens. Tough collision there, and Baker just getting up off the ground. Teams are combined 2 for their last 15. It'll be Isaacs at the line. 6 foot junior out of Alpharetta, Georgia. 3 points, 3 rebounds. They're playing great hoops as of late. 9 points and 5 rebounds in the team's win against Mississippi State. 8 points against Florida. You see she shoots it at 81% from the line on the season. Misses both there. 12-point deficit for Ole Miss. Donetta Johnson brings it up the floor for the Rebels. She'll step back on Stady. Nice job there by Johnson.
Tough shot. Smart move using that fadeaway. Ole Miss needed that one.
First bucket of the afternoon for Donetta. Morrison spins around on Collins, and she gets the shot to fall in the lane. A sudden player as Q Morrison does what she wants with intensity and effort every time up the floor. Reed, nice find to get it to Shakira Austin, but there's Stady protecting the rim. Barker for three. Offensive board, Coombs, another opportunity. Stady catch and shoot just inside the three-point line. 14 points for Jenna Stady here in the first half. Shot clock off. Mimi Reed will look to use the remaining 15 seconds here in quarter number 2. Nice spin from Austin. Can't get the shot to go, and she's going to the line with a tick under 4 seconds remaining here in the half.
Seth, you talk about some great footwork. Shakira Austin, that was a beautiful step through. I know that she is anxious to get warmed up, sitting at 2 points right now.
That's the story right now. Stady 14 points, 6 of 9 from the field. Shakira Austin just 2, 1 for 6. Chance to try to maybe spark some offense here before the half if that would have gone with the foul. Who knows what she would be capable of in the second half, but just not her afternoon thus far. Now 0 for 3 at the line as well.
That's Georgia. They are making everything that she gets super difficult. They're doing a great job guarding her.
Gets the second, gets Ole Miss to 20 points before the break. Coombs electrically gets up the floor, throws up a shot, almost gets it to go. It's been a lot of Georgia offense here in the first half. Jenna Stady with 14 points, and the Bulldogs are 12-2 when leading at the break. We'll have the second half of action coming your way soon on the SEC Network.
Spin this head on a world on its axis.
This crowd ready to celebrate.
Huh. So if Geico's 85, that makes you...
Are you asking if I'm 85 years old?
Sea turtles live to be 150, so... No, I was not.
Geico, saving people money for 85 years.
We're at the Square Jam. We're about to have a little three-point contest, a few competitions, have a little fun tonight. nervous at first, but once I seen the first one go in, I knew it was that time. I knew it was gonna get crazy.
Looking to spin this head on a world on its axis.
This crowd ready to celebrate.
There really is nobody like him. Oh my goodness!
He's a beast!
Halftime in Oxford, number 15, Georgia leads number 24, Ole Miss by 13, 33-20 is our score. On Wednesday, we've got a men's basketball doubleheader for you, and it starts with this game. Mr. Double-Double Oscar Tshiebwe and number 12 Kentucky host Vandy at Rupp Arena. Our coverage will start at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. One app, one tap.
This whole thing doesn't look like much, but in bars and living rooms across the mid-Atlantic, it was the window into the birth of something special.
Some ball game.
A conference? Nah. Juggernaut. First rivalries, first traditions, first dynasties.
Old rivals North Carolina versus
And a
State.
first look and how it all went down.
What a finish for the season!
The Tournament, a history of ACC men's basketball. The 10-part documentary event premieres Monday at 9 on ACC Network.
Huh. So if Geico's 85, that makes you...
Are you asking if I'm 85 years old?
Sea turtles live to be 150, so... No, I was not.
Geico, saving people money for 85 years.
Second half about to get underway here at the SJB Pavilion. Ole Miss down by 13, taking on Georgia. We welcome you back courtside. Seth Austin and Lindsey King with you here on a Sunday afternoon. We talked about it early on in this game. Georgia's a team that's 7-1 on the road. Ole Miss is a team that plays great defense. Georgia has no fear. They've come in, they put the numbers up offensively.
Oh, from the tip-off as well, that first quarter, Ole Miss really got themselves in a hole, did better that second quarter. They're going to have to bring it the second half.
What's kind of crazy is Georgia's been a team that's been known to outscore opponents with their bench points. Well, in this game, this is the only area that Ole Miss is winning in its bench points. That's because of Angel Baker off the bench. She's been doing her job.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a bright spot. Ole Miss, they went in a scoring drought, and Angel Baker, she just came out here. You see her making moves on the defensive end, bringing it in transition, really looking to score. Ole Miss was desperate for her.
8 points off the bench for Baker. Jenna Stady, as good as advertised, Lindsey.
I mean, Jenna Stady, she has given Ole Miss all that they want right now. Look at that, pulling three-pointers. She's making cuts. She is one of the best post players in this conference, and she has given Ole Miss all that she wants right now. They're going to have to do something different with her defensively if they want to get back in this game.
Essentially already at her season averages. 14 points and 7 rebounds already in this game. You take a look at the first half stats, and Stady has been a big reason for it, but you see the points in the paint, 18-4. Shakira Austin just 3 points in the first half. Georgia has also been able to turn the Rebels over. They have 9 points off turnovers. Ole Miss just 3.
Yeah, Ole Miss is going to have to take better care of the basketball and those points in the paint. Get Shakira Austin more looks. And it's great that Baker's stepping up, but Shakira Austin, she's such a big part of this offense. Georgia's making it very difficult for her. 9 assists on 14 made baskets as well. This is a Georgia team that is leading the SEC, 17 assists per game. They are assisting on 60% of their baskets. Georgia will start with the possession here in the second half. Barker inbounds it to Morrison. Coombs, Stady, and Isaacs also on the floor for Georgia. Monk, Johnson, Scott, Austin, Reed. So the same 10 starters will start half number 2. Stady just inside the three-point line again, and she stays hot. Johnson misses, but an offensive board. Gets it right back to Danetta. She'll feed inside for Shakira Austin. Nice little spin back to the left side, but no good.
Morrison with the tempo up the floor now for the Lady Bulldogs. Jump shot at the free throw line. Madison Scott with the rebound on the miss. Early on here in the second half, looks like both teams are going to work with some tempo. Scott will go to the line for 2. Foul called on Jordan Isaacs. Quick sub here in the second half as Yanla Kitchens comes on for Shakira Austin. Austin 1 for 7 in the game, just 3 points. Scott 3 points as well, 1 for 3, 1 for 2 from the line. Second trip today to the free throw line, knocks down the first again. Coming off of an 8.3 rebound, 3 block game in the loss to South Carolina on Thursday. Able to hit both. Full court press from the Rebels. Georgia breaks it fairly easily. Sarah Ashley Barker had a nice first half, but the lob pass there, too high for Stady, intercepted by Mimi Reed. And Q Morrison nearly teed up a steal of her own to come the other way.
That's where Georgia's so good. Just those tips and interruptions to Ole Miss's offense. They're not able to get in any kind of flow.
McGee back on as Ole Miss opting to play small here. We'll see what kind of a difference that makes and what Georgia will do defensively to work with it. Stady is watching McGee here. Coombs able to get it over the timeline. Over to Jordan Isaacs, lays it in with the left. Team that shares the ball so well, you would imagine would be good at breaking a press like that.
Ole Miss was having some luck with the press in the first half. I liked seeing them in it, but like you said, Georgia not giving them much trouble.
McGee drives to the right, kick over for Scott, left it short. Stady another rebound and a jump ball as McGee went to the ground to hold on to it. Here's another look at the transition offense from Georgia.
So Georgia's so good. Those transition baskets, they're great at, like you said, sharing the ball, getting the easy layup. I don't believe they've missed one in transition like that yet.
Foul called on Madison Scott as she was trying to clear out some space down low. She's contesting, but she was held in the process. Won't change the opinion of today's officials. Barker, near side wing. Isaacs looking to give it off here to Q Morrison. Morrison 6 points in the first half on 3 of 11 shooting. There's a feed from Isaacs down low to Barker. Won't get the first shot to go, but is fouled in the process. Sarah Ashley Barker was on the all-freshman team a season ago. 5 points, 3 rebounds per game in her first season with the Lady Bulldogs, playing 27 minutes per night, 9 points, 4 rebounds, 2.4 assists. There's a lot of Georgia players that when you look at the per game statistics that they have, they're north of 2 in the assist category, and that goes back to them averaging 17 per game as a team. Always looking for one another. Anybody can really operate their offense for them.
So if you talk about a player that came into this program and made an immediate impact, Barker did exactly that, and from one year to the next, I feel like she might be the most improved on this team.
Angel Baker, cross back to the left side. Into double figures now. She has 10 of Ole Miss's 24 points. Shakira Austin to check back in. Also, Destiny Salary into the contest. The Tennessee transfer 10. She was watching Coombs on the near side. No need for the kick out as Morrison goes through the lane, left side, lays it in. 41-20 for Georgia here in quarter number 3. Angel Baker going to work. finds the salary on the opposite baseline. Ball up in the air. Baker comes away with it. Monk's going to reset the offense for the Ole Miss Rebels. 12 to shoot now here on the possession. 5 to shoot now with Austin on the wing. Looking to create space, lets a shot go, knocks it down. That might get Shakira Austin going here in the second half. Morrison the lob to Stady. 10-footer goes. Jenna Stady continuing her offensive game. 18 points now for Jenna. Three-pointer knocked down there by Caitlin McGee. She waited a while, no one came open, and confidently knocked it down.
I like that she took that shot. Georgia not respecting her from the three-point line.
Well, Shonda Monk was battling down low with Stady. Here's Caitlin McGee. Just a hair behind the line, not from our angle. Wasn't sure if she had her foot on the line.
See, Georgia was in that sagging defense. That's a shot that Caitlin McGee has been working on. She's still, like you said, paused, but good job knocking it down.
First three-pointer made this season, now 1 for 3 for Caitlin McGee. We'll see if she'll take another here before the game is over. Mimi Reed tucks it, goes left side. Back to a 12-point game here. Ole Miss needing their defense to stand tall here in the second half. Double screen set on Reed here. Morrison trying to find some operating space. Step back, knock down that shot. She's in double figures now, 5 for 13 shooting here this afternoon.
And Seth, if you're Ole Miss, there's just not much you can do about that quick fadeaway. That's a tough shot.
Shakira Austin had 3 on her by the time she got to the cup. And that's what it's like being Shakira Austin. Everybody knows who you are, where you are, what you're doing at all times defensively.
And when you have a season like Shakira Austin has had, you come in every single game with a target on your back. That's why it's important for your guards to step up. Angel Baker's done a good job, but Ole Miss still seems a little bit frazzled with Shakira Austin having the game that she's having.
Johnson back in for Ole Miss. The difference now has been the balance between these two teams. Stady has 18, Morrison has 10, Barker's got 9. For Ole Miss, it's Baker with 10. And the next scorer's got 5. One for 2 that trip for Austin, up to 6 points. 2 for 6 from the free throw line. Let's press a little bit more tenacious from Ole Miss. They had 2 come meet the ball handler there at the baseline. New possession for the Rebels. Donetta Johnson working to her left. Elbow jump shot. Leans left. Cute Morrison the rebound. 4 boards now for Q. Gets the calls from her coach, Joni Taylor, on the far side. Inside of 5 now in the third quarter. Morrison drives right. Steps back on Salary. Salary sticks with her. Jordan Isaacs now trying to hand it back off. Morrison, an inch, finds that space to get in the lane, and then the give to Stady, who cuts to the rim.
Seth, those two play so good together. It seems like both of them know where the other one is at all times.
13 assists now for Georgia here in the game. A timeout taken by Ole Miss. Good point guard play here in the second half. Mimi Reed goes left, goes off the window and in, and then Q Morrison, a little step back, smooth as butter. Dogs by 15. Georgia 47, Ole Miss 32, 4.5 to play here in quarter number 3. Angel Baker is now 13 points away from 1,500 in her career. She was a truly special player at Wright State, so much so that she had the impact of helping the Raiders take down Arkansas in the NCAA tournament a season ago. She dropped 26 in that first-round game against the Razorbacks, and we'll keep monitoring whether she's able to hit that 1,500-point plateau. But it's one of those players, when you watch them, no matter where they play, Lindsay, the only way you can describe her is a scorer. Yeah, absolutely. She elevates everybody that is on the court with her. She's a great scorer, a great passer, a great defender, but most importantly here today, she is a bright spot in this Ole Miss offense. When they struggled, she was willing to step up, creating her own shot. I mean, I feel like out of all of the 10 points that she has, not a single one of them came easy. Rebels will start with the possession out of the break here. Destiny Salary inbounds it to Shakira Austin, gets it over to the point guard, Mimi Reed. She's watched closely by Coombs. Johnson trying to get warmed up here off the back end, no good. Both teams crashing for the board here. Eventually it finds the hands of Morrison. She'll go the other direction. Bounce pass inside, taken away by Salary and Donetta Johnson. Johnson looking to go around Stady, hard to do. She gets it back out for Angel Baker. Baker with 10 points. Spins away from Coombs, can't get the shot to roll. Batted back by Austin into the hands of Michaela Coombs. 5'9", redshirt senior guard from Beaufort, Georgia. $15-point lead for Georgia. Told you they're 12-2 when they lead at halftime. Errant pass from Stady intercepted by Johnson. Donetta Johnson up in to Jordan Isaacs and one. Johnson muscling her way through the Bulldog defense against her former team. Off the window and good. She'll go for the old-fashioned three-point play when we come back. Friday, our gymnastics doubleheader starts with number 4 Florida taking on Missouri at 7 Eastern, 6 Central. Then we'll have the tri-meet between number 25 North Carolina, number 18 Western Michigan, and number 9 Alabama at Coleman Coliseum, right here on the SEC Network. Told you Ole Miss is in the midst of taking on 3 straight ranked opponents here in SEC play. They've got 29 top 10 wins all time, 87 top 25 wins all time, and they are 305 and 105 all time when they are a ranked team. So far this season, they've got a pair of wins over top 25 foes. That was against South Florida just before the new year, and they took down Kentucky a few weekends ago in Lexington. Here they have number 15 Georgia at home. The Bulldogs coming off of a loss to a ranked foe in Tennessee. Ole Miss fell on the road, taking on South Carolina on Thursday. So both of these programs trying to get back in the win column, but so far so good for Georgia. This is the kind of player, though, that can give Ole Miss a spark down the stretch. Donetta Johnson, who missed 8 games this year with a foot injury, completes the three-point play there because she was fouled and made the basket before the timeout. She'll come off to get a breather there and hopefully bring some energy late as she's going to get attention. Johnson headed straight to the locker room after that free throw, so we will keep an eye on that as well. Destiny Salary then becomes a player you got to keep an eye on, along with McGee. Both on the floor for the Rebels with Baker, Austin, and Monk. Coombs, Morrison, Stady, Javin Nicholson, who has the ball in her hands right now, but took steps in the blocks. Ole Miss trying to figure some things out defensively. Austin, Salary, and Baker having a conference underneath the Georgia hoop. You might sit and think, well, what are these teammates yelling about? Are they not on the same page? And then you think about the team on the other side when it comes to their football program and the clip that went viral of Nakobe Dean, the Mississippi native, holding his teammates accountable. I think that's something you got to keep. You got to keep in your mind when you see something like that happening. I think that's exactly what was happening. You have a more seasoned player like Shakira Austin and players that don't get as many minutes. She just wants them to do right. Teardrop short from Baker, cleaning up the glass of Shakira Austin now with 8 points. 10-point ball game here, 2:20 to play, and here comes the press from Coach Yo's Rebels. Barker able to break it. She'll cross over on Salary, give it off to Jenna Stady, who is eating here today. 22 points for Jenna Stady.
Getting good looks, getting easy looks. Ole Miss has got to make it more difficult on her.
Backdoor feed from Austin to LaShonda Monk. Unfortunate that doesn't go because the pass was absolutely filthy.
See Monk on the baseline, not happy with the no foul call, but this is the SEC. You have to play through those. You can't expect to be bailed out by a foul.
Jenna Stady, 22 points, 6 rebounds, pair of steals as well. Hand in the face of Shakira Austin, rims out. 12-point lead now for Georgia. Q Morrison working to her left, taking the screen from Javin Nicholson. Interesting look here for Georgia with 2 bigs in the game. Nicholson being one of them, spins off of a defender there, high off the glass and good. 90 to play here in quarter number 3. Georgia able to get back out to a more comfortable lead after the Rebels got to within 10. LaShonda Monk working on Coombs, finds Angel Baker on the far side. Morrison's now picked up the responsibility of Angel Baker defensively. Another shot off the mark for Shakira Austin. 3 for 11 in the game from the floor. Nicholson, no way. Pass too strong for her in transition, throws it over her shoulder, finds Barker, and there's a foul on Ole Miss.
And that's when you just think about Georgia being 7-1 on the road. Here in the Pavilion, Ole Miss's house, everything seems to go Georgia's way.
Foul was on LaShonda Monk, her 3rd. Puts Barker on the line. She's in double figures now. One of 3 dogs to have at least 10 points here in the game. Misses the 2nd, rebounded by McGee. Barker 10 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists here today. McGee top of the key again, a 3 goes in and out. Kitchens the offensive board. Out to Snutta Collins, she'll let a 3 go. Foul called on Barker, who was closing her out there. That'll give Snutta Collins a chance to get on the board here today. 3 free throws coming for number 5 in white.
That's Ole Miss having a lot of players that are normally impact offensive players just struggling. Snutta Collins, one of them, sitting at 0 points right now. Usually she has a lot of points on the board by now.
Collins misses the first. Sophomore from Brookhaven, Mississippi, out of Brookhaven High School. Playing 20 minutes per game, 6 points, 1 rebound per contest. 65% shooter at the free throw line. Misses the 2nd as well as that ball gets stuck up on the rim. .48 ticks remaining on the 3rd quarter clock. It's a 15-point lead for the 15th ranked Bulldogs as Collins comes away 1 free throw made. It's a positive sign as Donetta Johnson comes back into the game. Georgia easily beats the press there. Ball movement gets into Jenna Stady, and there's another block from Caitlin McGee. McGee has had 2 of the best blocks of the day, and I know we highlighted the centers here in this matchup, but the 6'1" forward from Jacksonville has been the defensive stud for Ole Miss.
I like the effort that Caitlin McGee has brought this game on both ends of the floor. I mean, that is a tough matchup, and she's not cowing down.
This is Barker. Went for the lob to Stady. Stady was not looking for it. After a scramble, it's Ole Miss going the other way. 20 seconds to play here in the quarter. Ole Miss in need of a good possession here before the final 10 minutes. Baker to Collins in the corner. Morrison got a hand in there. 5 to shoot. Baker rips it through a defender, lets a shot go, and is going to the line for 2 here with 2.2 seconds left in quarter number 3.
Have to respect that aggression that you're getting from Angel Baker.
Baker's first free throw in the game goes in. Baker misses the second. 11 points for Angel Baker. The heave from Georgia will not go. 52-39 our score. Ole Miss has 10 minutes to try to come from behind against number 15 Georgia. Those 10 minutes coming your way next on the SEC Network. We highlighted Jenna Stady before the start of today's game, and she's lived up to the expectation. 22 points, 10 rebounds, a double-double for number 14 in red. What have you liked about her game here this afternoon, Lindsay?
I think the question is, what haven't I liked about her game? She is so hard to guard. She stretches out the defense. You see there, she's shooting three-pointers. She's an impactful player on the defensive end. Her team just knows where she is. They know her footwork. She's just such an amazing player.
10 for 14 in this game is Jenna Stady. Shakira Austin struggling on the other side of things for the Rebels. 8 points for Austin, 3 of 11 shooting. She does have 7 rebounds here in the game as well. Neither of the bigs have a block in this contest. See how the two stars for both of these sides inside impact the final 10 minutes of this game. We highlighted paint scoring as well at the break. Georgia outscoring Ole Miss in the paint 28-12. Turnovers was another big aspect early on in this contest. Georgia had just kept turning Ole Miss over and over again. That number is now even at 11. The story for Ole Miss has been the bench scoring here as well. Angel Baker leading Ole Miss with 11 points, 5 from Donetta Johnson and Caitlin McGee. Both of those players on the floor now. Nearly batted by McGee. Entry pass to Nicholson, cutting towards the hoop, taken away by the Rebels. That's their 12th turnover forced of the Lady Bulldogs. Angel Baker trying to get freed up by a couple screens. Instead, it's Collins curling on the far side wing. 12 to shoot for LaShonda Monk and the Rebels, down by 17 here in the fourth quarter. Entry pass finds Caitlin McGee. She's up to 7 now for the Rebels. No matter the outcome of this game, that's a positive sign that no lights are too bright for 32 in white, as Caitlin McGee has brought her A game this afternoon.
Well, she's having a game to be proud of. And you see this matchup, Caitlin McGee on Stady. You see the size disadvantage here, and you're like, there's no way. But I feel like out of everybody, she's done the best job on her.
Battling in the blocks now. Just like that, foul called on Caitlin McGee. Here's the offensive bucket for 32. Holds her pivot, goes off the window. Jacksonville, Florida, out of Sandalwood. Averaged 3 points and 3 rebounds in 24 games as a freshman. Has seen action now in 21 games, playing 13 minutes a night for the Rebels here in the 2021-22 season. There's McGee and Austin combining there to bat a ball away off of Georgia on the inbound pass there. So another possession coming for the Rebels, and they're going to need a lot of them here in the final frame. 2 quick turnovers here in the quarter, forced by that Rebel defense. Angel Baker watched by Chloe Chapman. She goes around 2 dogs, and a blocking foul will be called there on Javin Nicholson. That'll be another number to keep an eye on, is how many fouls can be racked up, because if Ole Miss can get to the free throw line, albeit they have not been great from the charity stripe here today, it's an opportunity for them to get points quickly.
Yeah, they're going to need this fourth quarter to be different. I mean, that first quarter, they got themselves in a hole. I like the patience that they're showing, getting good looks, drawing those fouls. I want to see more of it.
There's a ball misfired, went through the net on the way to see Angel Baker outside the three-point arc. Turnover this time from Ole Miss's offense. There's another turnover. It's LaShonda Monk going the other way. And just like that, it's a 9-point ball game. Ole Miss entered the frame down by 17, and they just got it to single digits.
Take a look at this Monk steal. We've talked about it 100 times. Those quick hands. My goodness, did Ole Miss need that steal in those transition points? I see the energy from that.
We may have talked about it 100 times, but over her career, it's been talked about 400 times.
True.
400 plus steals in her career. And there's a jump ball coming. Joni Taylor right in front of us was trying to bark out for a timeout, did not get it. Possession arrow pointing towards Ole Miss, and the crowd has come alive here at the SJP Pavilion.
We knew this one was going to be a fight, Seth.
Baker thought about it with a hand in her face. Instead, shot clock will wind down. She'll work to the left side, spinning around on Sarah Ashley Barker. Out for LaShonda Monk. Gets into the lane with a lay in there. Nice job by her teammates, kind of clearing out some space for her. And right out of the bucket, it's Caitlin McGee again. She is winning over this crowd.
Caitlin McGee, a player that sometimes can be overlooked. She is bringing it. Look at this Ole Miss team. You see Monk there with the basket, Caitlin McGee with the deflection. They're playing some ball.
This number might be crazy to think about from the last 15 minutes or last two quarters. There's some smiles on the faces of Ole Miss as they're starting to get into a rhythm late. 7 points for Caitlin McGee, also getting it done defensively. This is Coombs handing it off for Morrison. 7:20 to play in the game. 7-point lead for number 15, Georgia. Morrison picks up her dribble over to Jordan Isaac. She pumps and goes around a defender. Ball finds the hands of Shakira Austin. It was a good look for Isaacs. LaShonda Monk, watched closely by Q Morrison, as we're now 3 minutes here into the final 10. Rebels down by 7. Angel Baker off the screen. Leaner to her left off the window, no good. An offensive board, Shakira Austin. Her runner on the putback doesn't go. A foul will be called there on the loose ball. Angel Baker will pick up the whistle. Second foul there on Angel Baker. Jenna Stady back in. See if she's able to stop the bleeding on both ends of the floor, as she's been so good. Efficient offensively, dominant down low defensively for Georgia here today. 6:30 to go in the fourth quarter. The Rebels, who have been down by as many as 17, are within 7. Coombs works on Collins. Pass intercepted by Shakira Austin. Austin showing what makes her the special talent that she is. It has not been her game offensively, but she is giving all-out effort on the defensive end. And then a foul called on Q Morrison there. She's whistled for hitting LaShonda Monk there on the far sideline.
Saw Coach Yo. She was right in the ref's ear. Talk about a 6-man. She was not going to let that call go uncalled.
Lives and dies with every possession for this Ole Miss team. It'll be McGee inbounding the ball. Lobs it up for Monk. Looking at 6 minutes to play. Monk gets the screen right from Shakira Austin. Uses it, no good. But Austin rips it away from Barker, a new possession for the Rebels. Skip pass over to Monk on the wing. Thought about the three-pointer. Rebels will set up their offense once again. Monk spins into the paint. Barker, a great job defensively. Shakira Austin muscles it away from her once again. She'll go to the line.
What a battle from Shakira Austin. Georgia is just on her. She cannot get anything look. So she's getting in there. She's cleaning up the basketball. We have got to take another look at this. Those are not easy rebounds. That's just Shakira Austin playing out hustle and heart.
Just 2 for 6 at the free throw line here today. And those woes continue. By the way, that was the 4th foul on Sarah Ashley Barker. She's going to sub out Reagan Richardson on. Richardson, the freshman from Charlotte, 18 games on the year. Much less of a scoring threat than what Sarah Ashley Barker has been. Here's the full court press now from Ole Miss. What should Georgia be looking for to get around it, Lindsay?
Have to have patience. You're going to have to get the ball to the middle and look up the court. Ole Miss is leaving that long ball open.
Sacking off of it a bit as well as it's Baker picked up the ball handler. 6-point game here at the SJB Pavilion. Coombs up and off the glass. What a shot there from Michaela Coombs. Just 2 for 8 from the field today. That's a big bucket.
Good aggressive move. There is not much you can do about that if you're Ole Miss.
Austin rolls off the screen. Spins into the paint with contact. No good. Offensive board, Caitlin McGee. And then a whistle blown on Stady. It'll be McGee going back to the line.
And the battle of the boards that Ole Miss is showing right now, they know when that shot goes up, this game depends on those extra boards. You take a look, not much you can do about this Georgia shot. That's a tough one.
Three fouls now on Jenna Stady. It'll be 2 free throws coming from Caitlin McGee. 58% on the year. Misses right on her first.
Seth, it's hard to watch when you play that hard and you get yourself to the free throw line, missing this many free throws. That's tough.
Ole Miss shoots it at 68% from the free throw line this season, just 47% today. $10 for 20 from the free throw line, and a great point made from our control room. You make those 10 free throws, it's a completely different game, Lindsay.
Absolutely.
Inside of 5 now, Morrison works left on Monk. Mallory Bates, no good. Rebound, Madison Scott. Timeout called by Jenna Stady. Great job by the veteran. Nearly had it taken away. She was triple teamed down low. Instead gets the ball back for her team over to the sideline. 54-47, 4.5 to play in Oxford. Monday night, SEC Inside grants you an all-access pass to the Arkansas men's basketball program at 9 Eastern, 8 Central. Then it's a look at the LSU women's team. You'll get never-before-seen footage and sounds from players and coaches, a real behind-the-scenes look. Only right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. 54-47, 4.5 to play. Georgia led by as many as 17. They've kind of slowed it up with some good offensive looks the last few times now, but what has Ole Miss done otherwise to get back into this game?
Now, Ole Miss had a battle coming into the fourth quarter behind. They've done a great job being aggressive, getting those 50-50 balls, getting the offensive boards. I would love to see them knock down some free throws. I have a feeling this game's going to come down to that because they're doing a great job of getting themselves to the line.
Ole Miss 31% from the field to 16% from downtown, but yeah, the number that stands out is the 50% from the free throw line. Georgia, on the other hand, 45% from the field, 33% from behind the arc, and they really haven't been shooting a ton from behind the arc. A lot of that was early on in this game, so we'll see what they choose to draw up here as they try to beat the press and set up an offensive look. Seth Austin, Lindsey King with you from the SJB Pavilion, and that's the kind of look that you want to see out of the press. It's Mallory Bates wide open with the lay-in.
They've done a great job getting it all the way down the court and getting those easy paint points when Ole Miss press.
Baker jabs and then starts working to the right. It's another Collins with 4 to play in this game. Back to Angel Baker. Baker has a little bit of daylight. She'll go off the window. Baker now with 13. Back to being a 7-point contest. And there's a giveaway. Maddie Scott takes it away, along with LaShonda Monk on that near side. Michaela Coombs called for the foul there, trying to stop Scott from going in on the transition lay-in. She'll go to the line for 2 free throws.
Ole Miss doing a beautiful job chipping away at this lead, just one possession at a time. We've seen a lot of this in the fourth quarter, those steals that come down to Georgia fouling. Now we got to see if they can make the free throws.
Scott makes the first free throw here. She's been one of the better Rebels at the line today. 4 for 5 is 70% from the season. No good on the second, rebounded by Bates. Scott and Baker up to meet Morrison. She'll get over the timeline, continuing to race up the floor. 3.5 to go here. Georgia by 6. Maddie Scott will be called for the block. Joni Taylor and Hugh Morrison having a moment there. It was just a little calm down, and Morrison even knew. She's the veteran. She was like, I was a little out of control in that situation there. That was foul number 5 on Madison Scott. Her day is over. Sarah Ashley Barker inbounding the ball for Georgia. She's got 4 fouls, so that's another player to keep an eye on. It's Scott's day over, 6 points, 5 rebounds in 17 minutes. She will have to look on with her team down by 6. Monk, a near takeaway of Morrison, doing it one-on-one against the veteran. A couple vet guards going at it here. Angel Baker looked to get in on the action. Instead, Coombs coming away with it. 5 to shoot now for Georgia. Michaela Coombs lets one go on the baseline, and it drops. How about that shot?
What a tough shot, Seth. That is a backbreaker for Ole Miss.
Coombs with a couple buckets down in the fourth quarter has not been really an offensive threat all game long. Here she comes. Ole Miss down by 8. It's Monk. Her pass inside, batted away. Stady came up with it, but Ole Miss is going to get it right back. McGee and Monk combine for another takeaway. Then there's a strip from Georgia. Timeout called by Jenna Stady. Yolette McPhee-McEwen irate, looking for a foul call. Full timeout taken here by Georgia. One more look at this floater from Michaela Coombs. Maybe one of the best shots we've seen all day.
That is a tough pill to swallow if you're Ole Miss. A player that's been a little bit quiet, but coming in late with a clutch shot.
Georgia now able to settle down and draw up something here in the final 2.5 to try to hold on to this 8-point lead. My goodness, this game for a few moments in the middle parts appeared as though it was going to be a runaway victory for Georgia. Ole Miss has been able to chip away. Got to within 6 of the Dogs, but Stady, Coombs, and company, Hugh Morrison on the defensive end.
Have to remember, Ole Miss battling themselves back from a 17-point lead by Georgia. You see Coach Yo there. Her team has played with so much heart and passion, and her coaching has been no different.
There's the scoring by quarter. Georgia scored 21 of their 58 points back in the first frame, plus 13. It's been even since. Back-to-back quarters, the second and third, where both teams scored the exact same amount. Ole Miss is plus 5 here. Rebels need a stop. 8-point lead for the Bulldogs. Seth Austin, Lindsey King with you from the SJB Pavilion. This is Michaela Coombs. 6 points, including 4 late in this contest. Spins away from a defender and creates enough room to lay it in with the right. This has been Michaela Coombs' quarter here in Oxford.
Oh my gosh.
10-point lead again for the Dogs. Austin up into Stady, in and out. That's been the story of her game. Barker over the timeline now for Georgia as they try to close it out. 7-1 on the road this season are the Georgia Bulldogs. And you understand why. Defense travels. Isaacs goes to the line for 2. A foul called on Caitlin McGee.
Got to take another look at Coombs here. 2 back-to-back. Good Lord, at that footwork. That was incredible.
Coombs, 7 points per game. She's got 8, right around her average, 7.6. So she's doing her part, and it's all come when they've needed her the most. Isaacs just 2 points here today. 1 for 3 from the field, now 0 for 3 from the free throw line. Make it 0 for 4. She misses both. Keeps the door open for Ole Miss here, final 90 seconds. They need points and they need them fast. Monk inside of 20 on the shot clock. Collins, step back 3, top of the key, no good. It'll be rebounded by Morrison. Ole Miss not fouling as of yet. 70 seconds remaining. Georgia tries to wind this shot clock and game clock down. Monk looks to the sideline, reaches in and fouls Sarah Ashley Barker. 62 seconds remaining. Georgia appearing as though they're going to move to 5-3 in conference action.
That 7-1 record. Man, that has to put some fear in your eyes if they're not scared of those road games.
Barker good with the first free throw. Georgia's at home for their next 2, Vanderbilt and Florida. Ole Miss's tough matchups continue. Their next 4 games are at Mizzou versus LSU, at State taking on their foes from Starkville, and then here against Texas A&M. Monk flips it up with the right to get it back to within 10, but 45 seconds remain. And then an unforced error from the Bulldogs again gives Ole Miss a little bit of hope here. They'll call a timeout.
Yeah, a mistake that is not typical for a seasoned player like Morrison.
There's LaShonda Monk working on Hugh Morrison. Rebels hoping it's not too little too late there with the flip from their senior guard. Here's a look at the teams ranked in the top 50 of the net ranking. South Carolina, of course, at the top of the leaderboard. They're in first. Georgia 26, Ole Miss 28. Mentioned a few of the teams the Rebels have to play down the stretch. Missouri 44, Texas A&M 43, LSU 23. Why is that important? Because this is a big factor in who makes the NCAA tournament every year. So some big top 50 showdowns ahead for Ole Miss if they want to get back to the NCAA tournament here this season. Georgia, they played some of their tough stretches, but as they get to the middle of February, they'll be at LSU. They'll get South Carolina at home on February 13th, and then they get Mizzou at home as well a few days later.
The thing about the SEC, there are no easy games once you get into conference play, especially this year. It seems like every team has just elevated.
.47 seconds remaining. Georgia by 10. Jenna Stady, 22 points on 10 of 14 shooting. She's got 11 rebounds as well. Q Morrison, 10 points. Sarah Ashley Barker, 12. Michaela Coombs has 8. And those have mostly come in crunch time to help keep her team ahead at arm's reach for Ole Miss. Baker catch and shoot 3 near side wing off the back end, no good. Ball still loose, rebounded by Caitlin McGee. This will be Collins from deep on the opposite wing, too strong. Another offensive board coming for Angel Baker and the Rebels. 28 seconds to go. They're looking for somebody open to get a shot. This is Shakira Austin. Kicks it out for Snutta Collins. 10 on the shot clock. She's way off the mark on the three-point attempt. And this will be a game that belongs to the Georgia Lady Bulldogs. 62-52 as Michaela Coombs gets it over the timeline. Joni Taylor and the Bulldogs are going to improve to 16-4 on the year, 5-3 in SEC play. Ole Miss drops a second straight in league action. They're now 5-3 and 17-4 on the season. That'll do it for us here in Oxford. A 10-point victory for the Georgia Bulldogs on the road. You can catch this game as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks by downloading the ESPN app or going online to watch ESPN.com. For Lindsey King and our entire crew in the control room, I'm Seth Austin. Once again, wishing you a great weekend. Final score, Georgia 62, Ole Miss 52.